There is the saying, everybody's a salesperson within a company. When in talking to your customers, you have to be a good storyteller.
You are listening to This is Product Marketing, brought to you by Product Marketing Hive, a product marketing community that gives back. In this episode, Camil Lafreniere, Senior Product Manager at Newforma, shares his opinions on the relationships between product marketing and product management based on his own experiences. Let's dive into it right now. Today we're happy to have Camil Lafreniere, Senior Product Manager from Newforma, to join us. Welcome, Camil.
Thanks for having me.
So, Camil, I know you are a product manager with a quality assurance analyst background. So, tell me, why did you transition into product management? So, what was it that made you decide to transition into product management?
Sure. I originally started in the hospitality industry. Working with customers, learning about the customer journey, anticipating customer needs, then moved into the telecommunications industry where I got more technical. And then I got a chance of a lifetime to work at EA, or Electronic Arts, as a QA analyst. I really enjoyed being a QA. And when I started working with my present company, they were transitioning more into a technical background where I needed to started writing code, automated testing. I really tried to learn how to code, but I failed miserably. So to make myself still relevant, I had experience working with customers face to face and a desire to move up the corporate rank. A position opened up as a product owner, which I took up, and then eventually also took on the position as the release manager. Over time, I was able to find a school where I could get my MBA online. And after getting my MBA, there were some transitions at Newforma, and I asked to become a product manager, and they gave me the position.
That's great. So what do you do at your company as a senior product manager?
What do I not do? To give you an idea, there's only two of us. There's the VP of product management and myself. We do have a number of product owners, but being the sole product manager in the company, I do talk to customers weekly, interviewing them, experimenting with them, learning about their pain points, and overall just cultivating that relationship between the company and our customers. I do have a small group of product owners that I work with where we get user stories and requirements written up for the various development teams. I do the competitive research for our sales and marketing teams, writing up and updating battle cards, product documentation, FAQs, personas, anything I can do to help our sales and marketing teams get the word out and make more sales. I have become the company's go-to expert on our portfolio of products. I run multiple beta, early adopter lighthouse programs. And I am the champion within our company for our actionable feedback mechanisms. I also help mentor employees for their future growth. And outside of work, I've become an active member within a number of many product manager communities.
It's very interesting because it sounds like there's a lot of similarities between your responsibilities as a product manager and what product marketing does. So I remember when you joined our community, you mentioned that you have been taking on some product marketing responsibilities. Can you expand a little bit on that?
For sure. I do a lot of the positioning and messaging around our products and features. We do have a separate marketing department, which will take what I've written up or come up with and clean them up, so to speak. But it helps them that I have some experience in positioning and messaging, along with my work in the competitive analysis. So it definitely reduces the load from the marketing department having to come up with it from scratch. So they also understand, what I'm trying to get across, and they just tailor the message based on their different marketing campaigns and whatnot. So.
Okay. So is there a separate product marketing function in your company?
No, we don't. That's why I do carry a lot of the product marketing functions. But we do have the separate marketing department, and they're responsible for overall communications that go outside of the company. We do have customers worldwide. So marketing runs our social media accounts, marketing and ad campaigns, schedule and promotes webinars, blog posts, case studies, testimonials, etc. So
based on your own experience, what are the new skill sets or perspective that you have gained through exploring the product marketing?
I've become better at positioning and messaging, which is always good from a product manager perspective, since we're often meeting with various stakeholders and customer. It really helps to differentiate yourself and your company and the items that you're using. I certainly have done the product marketing hive positioning for Advantage course, which was fantastic. It was quick. And, you certainly walk away with real actionable information that you can use right away. Currently, I am working on my product marketing management certification, where I am learning more about branding and various communications, just helping to fill in those gaps that I have in the product marketing space.
Thank you for your kind words, Camil. Here, I just wanted to remind everyone who are listening to the podcast. At Product Marketing Hive, we offer a great positioning and messaging training course, Positioning for Advantage. It's free and you can check it out at productmarketinghive.com. So, based on your experience, how curious should product managers be about product marketing?
In my personal opinion, product managers should be curious about product marketing. As a PM, you should be curious. I find it's all interconnected. For example, as a PM, you create a business case, marketing needs, and from that information, that could be used towards the marketing strategy. And as you iterate and learn more and update the information, that information can also then be used in your beta early adopter or lighthouse plans. And again, over time, as it's tweaked, it can be used during your launch periods, your marketing plans, and it just goes on. And certainly through the life cycle of a product, that information then can feed into the end of life plan, and any new items that you learn, it just comes full circle, which goes into a new business case, a new marketing needs, and it just keeps continuing. So I think it's good to know both sides.
Yeah. Because I think it's actually quite natural for product managers to dab into or just get involved into some product marketing related activities. The founder of our community, Crispin Reed, he gives an interesting definition of product marketing. He said, product marketing is a subset of product management. Product marketing is the business of product management. It is a subset of product management that is most concerned with commercial success of a product rather than its construction. So in your opinion, how separate are they between product management and product marketing?
I certainly agree with his statement, but I would say that they also work very much in tandem. One can feed the other, as the example I gave previously with the product life cycle. Since at my company, we don't have a dedicated PMM person, therefore I do work with our marketing department in getting the information. So it's very much work in tandem.
So how do you interact with the marketing department in your company?
So the VP of product management does most of the interactions with the marketing department, but I do have separate meetings with them. As a matter of fact, I do have one today after this, where we're going to be talking about just the onboarding process of licensing new users and how that customer journey experience is planned out and how we plan to make it better.
What are the top skills or activities traditionally referred to product marketing skills? Should product managers be familiar with? For example, should product managers know positioning and messaging?
Absolutely. There is the saying, everybody's a salesperson within a company. When in talking to your customers, you have to be a good storyteller, and positioning and messaging improves that. And it helps differentiate yourself and the company as you're talking through those items. And it really helps ensure that you hit the right points as you need in those types of conversations.
Yeah, exactly. So what about the opposite? If a product marketing and product management functions are separate in the company, what kind of product management skills you think it would be helpful for the product marketers?
I think from the other perspective, it would be just a curiosity, the ability to continue to drill down and ask questions, to probe further, to really get to the root of either a pain point or a problem, and really find that real little nugget where, again, you can truly find some differentiation for your messaging and your positionings.
That's very true. So how close should product managers and product marketing managers work together in for example, a process of launch?
I would say very closely.
Yeah.
There's just so many moving parts at a launch. I've done a launch myself without a PMM, and again, there's just so many moving parts. It's really hard to give your full attention to all the minute details that can occur during a launch. So having that extra person to be able to assist on the outward facing items of the positioning, the messaging, really helps lighten the load to ensure that certain things get the attention that they need, especially at a launch.
Yeah, because I remember Anita Raj, our member of Product Marketing Hub, she said product launch is an organized chaos.
It is, absolutely.
It's definitely going to be helpful if there's more hands to help you, yeah.
Agreed, yeah.
In my opinion, just for product marketing and product management, those two functions, they join together is a good thing for a company. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, organization draw very clear boundaries or lines between them. I think it's not that helpful because fundamentally they kind of share the same goal. That is from creating the products and marketing them all the way to the end of the whole life cycle of product. So what do you think?
No, I totally agree. They're like two heads of the same beast, should be joint at the hip almost. From a high level, it looks really easy to draw that line of who should be responsible for what. But when you really get down into the details, it becomes a lot more difficult to draw that line. There's just so much overlap that does occur from that. And, I think it definitely is a team effort. And as you mentioned, definitely a shared goal.
Yeah. So, what do you think a community like Product Marketing Hive has potential to bring to product marketers?
I love that the community gives back. There's definitely great resources like the courses, templates, blog posts, this podcast, for example, and the Slack community. There's a lot of great information that can be used and actionable items that you can use right away.
That's great. I'm happy to hear that they're helpful. So do you have any final thoughts on the relationship between the two functions, the product management, the product marketing?
Again, I think in the end, they're very much overlapping. As much as one person could potentially do both, there are benefits of having that separated and being very much of a team effort, and the ability to guide and your messaging, your positioning, and just help lighten the load so the focus can be done in some of the more minute details to get those items right, for sure.
Great. Thank you again for this great conversation on this very interesting topic. Thank you, Camil.
My pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for tuning into This is Product Marketing, brought to you by Product Marketing Hive, a product marketing community that gives back. Check out our website, productmarketinghive.com, to join our community, meet fellow product marketers, and access free resources, including training, playbooks, templates, and events. If you enjoyed our podcast, please subscribe and give a 5-star rating on the platform of your choice. See you next time.